This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. Hello and welcome to our review of the 2013 Supercar Challenge, the international motorsport series that started back in 2001 and has grown into one of the biggest racing championships in Europe for GTs, for touring cars and sports prototypes. And the reason for its success is probably its straightforward regulations, where any car only has to comply with a simple power-to-weight ratio to decide which class it'll be eligible for. Top marks like Ferrari, McLaren, Viper and Corvette are placed in the GT divisions. Touring cars like Renault, Seat, Lotus and BMW go in the sports classes, and the exotic sports racing prototypes like Radical, Praga and Wolf are in the Superlights divisions.
Applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, live for the applause, applause, live for the way that you cheer and scream for me. The applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, live for the applause, applause, live for the way that you cheer and scream for me. The applause, 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 applause.
Fierce battles for the top step of the podium throughout the season make for great television. In this 45-minute show, we'll bring you all the highs and lows of 2013. The highs from close racing, the lows from the offs, and the bizarre outcomes of the various championships in the final races. For the 13th year in a row, the beautiful circuit in the Belgian Ardennes forest was on the calendar. With its legendary Eau Rouge and Raidillon combination, we are of course at Spa-Francorchamps, and it's special here too because of the extra large grid with the combined GT and Sport divisions making a massive entry of 50 cars. Beautiful conditions here at the fabulous Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Safety car is off and out of the bus stop they come, waiting for the lights to change. At the very last minute they get the go. Roger Grau's right in front of us in that Corvette, and Jim Geddy already under pressure at the start. Jan Verslijs in the Ferrari trying to go around the outside of the McLaren. He gets balked on the outside. There's Henry Tunbrink, good start from him, but look at the Corvette go, up into second place already. The Volvo and Ferrari wheel to wheel as they come down into Eau Rouge. Jim Geddy leads in the McLaren, Roger Grau's in second, and who's going to come out third? A massive torque of that Volvo pulls it up the hill. Silhouette racer with its V8 engine, outgunning even the factory-built Ferraris. Stunning stuff from Henry Tunbrink. Up the Kemmel Straight, Roger Grau's using all that Pratt & Miller horsepower. Ain't no substitute for cubes on the Kemmel Straight, and the power of the Corvette puts him into the lead at Les Combes. The Volvo is third, Jan Verslijs fourth. Bob Herber was right with him there under braking, couldn't quite get through. And the Volvo with great torque, but here comes the Ferrari. Now he's going to lunge to the inside at Piff Paff. Has he got the line? It looks like he has. Oh, contact though. Tunbrink tries to shut the door. Oh, I'm not sure that was on at all. That corner was lost and he should have realised it. Could have caused an accident for both cars there on the opening lap of this 1 hour race. There are the Vipers, still hard at it as they battle for 8th. We're on board with Bob Herber in 5th. And there goes the Volvo again, using his power, but collects the McLaren. Oh dear, Henry Tunbrink. What on earth does he think he's doing? Bits flying off the McLaren there, I think. Jim Geddy under attack now. Bob Herber right behind him, and then Nick Homerson next up in the sister Ferrari. And they are swarming all over that McLaren, on board with Bob Herbert, exiting the bus stop, past the Formula 1 pit lane. Start-finish line to complete another lap, trying to go around the outside at the hairpin at La Source. He's got a good run going on the McLaren, but the tighter inside line gives Jim Geddy the advantage. Bob Herbert now tries to attack again, down past the old Formula 1 pits into the awesome Eau Rouge. Is he going up the inside? He is. And Jim Geddy rather wisely lets him go down a couple of gears and then pouring on the power as we climb the hill once more. So Bob Herbert moves up, and Nick Homerson in the background is looking to do the same. Here come the Vipers as well, Barry Mason, Peter Huvenars. There is your leader, Roger Growls, coming up to the bus stop chicane at the end of the lap. The Ferrari down the inside. Ooh, and he just gets that braking done in time. Hear the massive grumble of the Corvette. Roger Growls told us he can't outbrake these modern cars with their ABS. And another car with plenty of torque, the V8 engine in that blue Volvo. Henry Zumbrink, let's see if he can make a pass here without hitting somebody, because so far he's not got a good record. Meanwhile, right behind is Bob Herbert with his walls at 6s and 7s in Eau Rouge. Oh, changed his mind. Well, lucky escape for Bob Herbert, and in fact, the incident seemed to be caused by a puncture from carbon debris off the McLaren when it was hit by the Volvo. Somebody's second-hand wreckage almost causing mayhem there, but Bob Herbert is out of the race as we head to the mandatory pit stops. 15 result seconds for the Geddys and their McLaren, run by United Autosports. Their tactic of staying close to the leading pack hasn't worked. Their 15-second advantage over Jan Verslijs in the pit lane then will be very much needed. And Roger Grals, though, looks to have had the best out of his tyres. A second and a half slower a lap than he was before. But he is still leading. Jan Verslijs takes second, dropping back due to a drive-through penalty because of a mistimed pit stop by the team. No such problems for United Autosports. So Verslijs and Geddy will meet each other on track to battle for second place as they head to the flag. Verslijs has been using tricks picked up from Ferrari test driver Jimmy Bruni, setting up the brake balance with more to the front in the fast corners to brake deep into the corner and keep up the speed, and then more rear balance for the slower turns to settle the rear of the car, and it seems to be working. In the high-speed corners, the McLaren is no match for the Ferrari, despite better torque from its engine. We saw Jan Verslijs in trouble perhaps with tyres before the pit stops, and it seems as though he is struggling still. Well, Geddy's going to have to watch out for the wildly sliding rear of Verslijs' Ferrari. Out of the bus stop, he takes advantage of a better exit right next to the Ferrari. He's going to have to go the long way round the outside, but has he got the momentum? He's on the racing line. The Ferrari will take the tight entry. As the Ferrari drifts wide, Geddy looks to the inside, and the young Scot will move up to second place. But he wouldn't get close to the leading Corvette of Roger Grals, who takes the first win of the season despite predicting before the race that his old Corvette C5R wouldn't be quick enough to beat the newer GT2 and 3 cars. Well, just goes to show. A delighted Roger Grals, our race winner. He said, a superb result, so happy. The team did a great job on the car. They worked all Thursday night to get it ready. No sleep for them. It was amazing, and I had a great race. In the GT division, Jan van der Kooi took the lead from pole sitter Wim Lumbeck in the Dodge Viper GTSR GT1, followed by Frenchman Pierre-Etienne Bourdais. Bourdais slowly gaining on Jan van der Kooi in his Lotus Exige, and this ended up being the battle for the lead. And unbelievably, Van der Kooi nearly won it, but on the final lap he ran short of fuel by about 2 litres, stumbling towards the checkered flag and losing the win. Long heartbreak afterwards at Lotus Van der Kooi, while Belgian Delahaye Racing Team won on home ground, scoring the 3rd victory of the season, making up for their bad luck at the Slovakia ring. 3rd now in the championship behind BMW drivers Steve van Bellingen and Vard Slice, here right in the shot. In the GTB division, Rennie Vinen and Charlie Fryens took pole position and led the race in the opening stages, so things were looking good. But there's worried faces on the team and Charlie Fryens. And they see Rene sliding down amongst the Supersport leaders and then colliding with Rudy Lemons in the KTM Crossbow before he drops out with a broken transmission. Well, no retirement is ever good, and those lost points would prove to be vital at the end of the season. So third place in the end for the Mazda driver Werner van Herk. Gerard de Jong in second, but first-time entrant is first-time winner Marcel van Berlo. Surprised and delighted, I think, in equal measure. So it's goodbye from them and from us from the third round of the championship at Spa, but that's not all. After the break, we'll be back. We'll take a look at the fourth racing weekend at Zolder with the sport divisions, round 6 at Zandvoort with the GTs, and we'll see the Superlights in action in round 7 at Spa. Stay with us for more. This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. Welcome back to our season review in Supercar Challenge with all the highs and lows of 2013. The Supercar Challenge offers ultra-competitive racing with close door-to-door, bumper-to-bumper battles, but still with the utmost respect for your rivals. And that's hard to maintain when you're racing on the edge. We've seen so many times collisions can happen in the blink of an eye. But there's a big difference between doing it deliberately and making a genuine mistake. We head to the historic track of Zolder, which hasn't lost much of its unpredictable nature since it opened in the 70s. It's a racing track where cars with less horsepower and therefore lower weight than their more powerful rivals can benefit in the tight and twisty stuff. Cars like the Lotus 211 of Luc de Kock, which struggled on the long straights at Spa because of its relative lack of torque and horsepower. Here in Zolder, it benefits from its lower weight because the wear and tear on tyres and brakes is so much lower, and it can brake later than its more powerful, heavier rivals. So, Luc de Kock on pole for both races is no surprise. Unfortunately, he ended up 11th in Saturday's encounter due to technical problems, so he has to redo it all again in this 1-hour race on Sunday. Well, we're with Jimmy Adriansons in 6th. Ruud Olly alongside him is 5th. You can just see Ferry Monster's Seat on the right of your picture, to the left Bas Schouten, that's row 2. And the front row, Luc de Kock in the Lotus, and with the pink highlights, the BMW of Koen Bokaerts. And de Kock shuts off Bokaerts on the run down to the first corner. Looks like Bas Schouten's got to run down the inside with more black on the bonnet. Can he take second place? At the moment, yes. We're with Adriansons in 6th, Ruud Olly's M3 right in front, Ferry Monster with the orange and tan car looking to the inside. Well, he holds on in 4th position. Leader is Luc de Kock, and he's pulling away as the BMWs hold each other up. Bokaerts with the pink, Schouten in the 1 Series GTR 3.2-litre straight-six engine, on board with Ferry Monster in 4th place. Oh, but not for long. Ruud Olli goes straight by with a 3.2-litre engine in the BMW, outpowering the 2-litre turbo Seat. And the 3rd Seat in your shot, that's Jonas de Kimper's Petronas car, up to 8th from 11th on the grid. Well, remember we talked about power to weight ratio, lighter weight being better on the tight and twisty stuff. Look at Ferry Monster in front. The BMW blew by him on the straight. He is all over the back of Ruud Olli through the chicane. There's Luc de Kock. Koen Bogaerts in 2nd, Baschouten in 3rd. 4th is Ruud Olli at the moment. Then 2 Seats on board with the Jensens, keeping the pressure on. Out front, the tiny Lotus 211 sports car making the BMWs look as big as they genuinely are. They're struggling in the twisty stuff. Well, Ruud Olli is making the best of a bad job, though, I think. Look at it. Down the inside for 3rd place. Passing Baschouten into that first chicane. Has to use a lot of the curb. Well, his speed in a straight line carried him by, but look, into the first corner, Schouten in the slightly lighter 1 Series. He finds a way through on the inside to retake the position. So it's de Kock from Bogaerts, then this battle with Ferry Monster right behind, and now look, that's Menno Meyers just getting by Jimmy Adriansens. The Seat, though, fights its way back through the tight and twisty first couple of corners. And through the chicanes, the Seat should have the advantage, braking a little later, carrying less weight and therefore better cornering speed in front of that M3 GTR with its 3.2-litre motor. It's a great unequal battle of equals, isn't it? 2 different cars, very different way of producing the power and handling it. So you've got a David versus Goliath battle all the way down. Little lock up there from Adriansens, feeling the pressure clearly. And he needs to be quick through the corners, changing the brake balance to avoid that happening again. Here comes Myers, looking up the inside, using that horsepower to slingshot by into the chicane. Now the hunter, though, will become the hunted. Don't think Adriansens has given up on this one. Well, heading towards the pit stops, the JR Motorsport BMWs, 2nd and 3rd, will have to remain longer in the pits because of their result seconds. There'll be less of those for Luc de Kock, retiring the day before, and that means he keeps the lead. Ruud Olli, with no result seconds, moves up to P2 in the number 404. So we have our battle for the lead. Well, Ruud Olli, right with Luc de Kock after the pit stops, piles the pressure on the Lotus driver, but great defending against the might of the BMW straight-six power unit by Luc de Kock, uses his advantages where he can and holds off the BMW. He wins his 3rd race of the season, and that's a great result for the Lotus driver after the disappointment of Saturday's event. Team are very happy. Well, 2nd goes to Ruud Olli, 3rd Baschouten and guest driver Joey van Splunteren. There's a great battle shaping up in the Sport Division too, because the dominance of the Van der Kooi Racing Team and Art Bosman almost looks as if it's coming to an end, thanks to the low-budget student team of Michael Verhagen and his Honda S2000. The Green Machine is very quick when it's not having technical problems, and they take the lead after the pit stops. Art Bosman's massive result seconds don't exactly help the Lotus Exige driver, of course, his wins in previous races just adding to the time he spends stationary in the pit stops. This system helps to prevent some cars and drivers taking home all of the trophies, and it's a very fair penalty system rather than adding weight, which has a different negative effect on different cars. But with Verhagen having pushed too hard in the first stint, his tyres are gone towards the end of the race and his lap times are degrading. Bosman keeps up a better pace overall. The battle for the win is on into the final lap of the race. Bosman is right there in the Lotus. Verhagen struggling in the Honda. And Bosman pounces. He uses his experience and his remaining traction, getting by into the Jackie X chicane. He claims the win in the class with just a few meters of the race remaining. Michael Verhagen ends up in 2nd. 3rd, the Renault Clio drivers Dennis de Borst and Martin de Klein. But it was another close run thing. Well, that was round 4 at Zolder, on the calendar again next year, and the same goes for the legendary Dutch seaside circuit of Zandvoort on the North Sea coast. It's a special event here with the GT divisions on this classic twisty roller coaster track. Glenn Geddy in the black McLaren and Jan Verslijs in the red Ferrari are again on the front row. And look at this, the front runners already door handle to door handle. The race hasn't even started and there's barely a breath of air between them. Here we come, up with the red lights on board with Bob Herber in the Ferrari in fourth place. He's going to have to be careful on the run down to Tarzan with no ABS. The McLaren is inside him, but look at that, Ferrari takes the lead. Jan Verslijs just got around Glenn Geddy, who tries the outside line at Tarzan. Quite a steeply banked corner, this historic first turn at Zandvoort. Did he get through? He did not. It's still Verslijs in the Ferrari. Geddy looks to the inside as they come to Gerlach. But the left-right-left does not work for him as they come around the Hunsrück and start to climb into the dunes, out away from the seashore. Let's take a look back at the start of the race then, on board with Jan Verslijs. And away he goes. He really didn't jump the start there. Looking over, making sure he's got clearance before he chops across the nose of the McLaren. And that is savvy heads-up driving. It's so easy for things to go wrong into Tarzan, as Craig Wilkins proved yesterday in the Viper in the first corner. Great view of the McLaren and the rest of the field squabbling for position behind. But at the moment, all eyes on the battle for the lead, and the lead of the championship could all hang on this as well. Well, with Glenn Geddy still battling for the lead, Roger Grauls, his arch rival from whom he took the championship lead yesterday, has moved up to fourth in the Corvette ahead of Bob Herber's hampered Ferrari. And there's a move on for the lead, a slow course car at the side of the track. And the Ferrari has track position. Glenn Geddy just hanging on. Not enough momentum to get around the outside. Well, this is an epic battle. Jan Verslijs comes out of Hunsrück, still with the lead and still with Glenn Geddy for company. On board with Bob Herber, moved for third place in front as you see Roger Grauls drive around the outside of Paul Bailey. That's out of Hugenholtz. He takes third place. Bailey down to fourth in that McLaren, and Bob Herber still struggling. Henry Zumbrink next up, look at that, in the Volvo S60 V8. As the Ferrari locks up, really missing that ABS, completely changes the way the car drives to Bob Herber. Through goes Henry Zumbrink. Well, things working well for him. Fourth place, well, that was last lap for Paul Bailey. But will he be in fourth place at the end of this lap? Paul Bailey and Andy Schultz, new to the championship this weekend. A little bobble in the middle of the corner. The McLaren drifts out very wide. And through goes Zumbrink. Well, he moves up the order into fourth place now for the blue Volvo. Well, let's catch up again with Jan Verslijs, the leader of the race. Glenn Geddy still right there, though. And more traffic in front. Looks like it's a chance now. Oh, straight through goes the McLaren, but will he now get balked? As they catch the guys at the tail of the field. No, the McLaren is cleanly through. So Glenn Geddy in the lead. Jan Verslijs will drop even further back after the pit stops because of his results seconds. Let's see what happens. Orange McLaren now being driven by Andy Schultz, taking over from starting driver Paul Bailey. He's already got by Martin Lanting's ABS-free Ferrari for sixth. And now, starting to claw their way up the order in this brand new McLaren. This is the battle for fifth place. Jan Verslijs in the Ferrari and the orange McLaren. Andy Schultz right in his wheel tracks as they come out of the Arie Luijendijk corner onto the long fast front straight. Again, classic slipstreaming effort. Pulls out nice and early. Down the inside into Tarzan. Done deal before Verslijs even gets onto the brakes. Well, that's a bit of a blow for the Ferrari driver. Jan Verslijs down to fifth. Andy Schultz is off and away in the celebration McLaren. Now behind Roger Grauls, the battle for third place. Andy Schultz looking to take another scalp. Heading down towards the Audi S's. And the McLaren, inside or outside, seems to have the grip, the traction to deal with almost anything here at Zandvoort. Glenn Geddy claims his second win of the weekend. Richard Dean's United Autosport team doing a great job. There is Richard Dean, the team boss. Great result for McLaren too. Andy Schultz and Paul Bailey taking third in the closing stages behind the Volvo S60 of Volvo dealer Henry Zumbrink. The Gettys on the top step of the podium. Well, Zandvoort will open the season in 2014's Supercar Challenge, and there'll be a host of other international racing tracks on the agenda as well.
Ahojte, vítame vás na Slovakia ringu.
Thank you, ladies, and indeed welcome to the Slovakia Ring, 30 miles south of Bratislava, the capital. Well, the Supercar Challenge won't race in Slovakia in 2014, but it was where we saw the first production model of the Praga R1, which will race in the Super Lights division. It's a state-of-the-art sports racing car. We caught up with the man behind this ambitious project.
Yeah, it's brand new. Finally, we catch 585 kilo, including oils and waters, it means including liquids, which is very promising. The engine is Renault, 2 liter from Formula. We stay with 212 horsepower. We don't change nothing on the engine. Transmission is Hewland. All these powertrain components is the absolutely same like which was present in Assen. We call it that this class by itself. Yeah, it means that we don't copy nothing. And we did exactly something which we feel that it must be. It must be nice, it must be pretty, it must be fast, and it must be cheap for running cost, and it must be easy to run for the drivers. And from this point, it's very unique because we show everybody yesterday that we are able to run a 208 Slovakia ring, which is very nice lap times. The car is very easy to drive. We present yesterday 3 drivers, 2 professional, 1 amateur. The 1 amateur which sit in the car absolutely first time, and when you saw the lap times, there was in 1 second, all 3. It means that this is a real presentation of this, that not only professional driver are able to drive that car, but also amateur could play with that car.
I think for me it's completely alien. You know, I'm very used to big heavy touring cars, and to get into something so light with such good aerodynamical grip is a completely different game for me. So it's been a very steep learning curve, but it's going well. And I think it's one of those cars you can jump in and straight away you can be quite quick. But that last little bit is very hard to find.
Well, the Super Lights division will race on a variety of tracks in 2014, including Spa-Francorchamps, and it'll feature many more cars now that the Speed Euro Series has merged with Super Lights. Let's take a look at Sunday's race, a grid of over 30 sports prototypes. We're on board with Ko Kupian. He's got pole position in the large Radical SR3 class, and he has a chance of winning the championship if he fares well. Up front, the faster SR8 Radicals, together with the CN prototypes. Ivan Bellarosa's Black and Gold Wolf GB08S leads them. And away we go, rushing down into La Source for the first time. Ivan Bellarosa's Black and Gold Wolf immediately surges in front. No mistakes this time from Martin Short. He takes second from Henk Thees. And Nicolo and Stefano Deval's Wolf in 4th spot ahead of the Ligier. No dramas at La Source, everybody, bearing in mind this is a 90-minute race. On board with Ko Kupian, heading down into Eau Rouge. Vital to get a good exit here. See him mitigating the speed on the way in. Oh, maybe not confident enough in the tyres though. Not chasing the throttle, and that is going to leave him vulnerable on the long run up the hill. Up to Les Combes, 3-wide battle for 4th place on the right of picture. That is Dan Gibson. He goes around the outside ahead of Julian Schell and Stefano Deval. The red and black Seika leading his class. That's Lawrence DeWitt, SR3 leader Ko Kupian, and Robert de Graaf is in charge in the Praga class from pole. Ivan Bellarosa leading the field quite comfortably to win overall. Again, the car not eligible for any of the championship classes, but what a great shakedown for the new Wolf GB08S. So the Speed Euro Series podium, Schell and Leutweiter from Asgard, and then Lacotte and Serviotto. Our Sian class winner in race 1, the Norma, driven by David Hotoft. With Jürgen van Hove, he becomes champion in the CN class, but they can't celebrate with a podium. A minor electrical problem means they don't finish, so it's a 1-2 for the Italian Wolf GB08s. Martin Short's goal was clear in SR8, make no mistakes, and that's what he did, winning the class and thereby the championship. With still one round to go at Assen, he's got enough points to be the first champion. On the podium on the left, Kokapian, while he managed the same trick in SR3, keeping out of trouble and winning the championship. But what about the Praga class? After pit stops, Danny van Dongen, the Praga factory test driver, took over from Barry van Elk, holding the lead in the Praga class. Philip Ribbons dropped to third because of result seconds. Here chasing guest driver Vincent Lesage through Eau Rouge and up the Kemmel Straight. The pass for second place. He uses the slipstream and is by before braking. Second win though for Denny van Dongen and Barry van Elk. But it's Van Dongen who wins the championship in the Praga division. Things looking good for next year with more Praga R1 entries. Well, that's it for Spa. We have more titles still to be decided, though, as we head to the circuit of Assen for the super final weekend of Supercar Challenge. And it's not plain sailing for our championship contenders. Stay with us. This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner. Welcome back to our review of the Supercar Challenge 2013. The championships in GT and Sport divisions have yet to be decided in the final round at Assen. To get to this point and be in contention, the racers have had to perform at their best during the previous 7 race weekends. The outcome of the various championships at Assen was not a walk in the park. We'll start with the Super GT divisions, but first let's see who's in with a shot at the title. Father and son, Jim and Glyn Geddy with the United Autosports McLaren lead the Super GT rankings. Up until mid-season they hadn't won a race. Then 23-year-old Glyn had to do 4 races on his own. He won 3 of them to take a massive championship lead. Second in the Super GT points, Jan Verslijs in the Ural Vika Ferrari 458. Verslijs has had a season of impressive highs, including 4 wins, but also disappointing lows with mechanical failures and 2 trips into the barriers. And third, Roger Grals, proving that consistency can be key to being a championship contender. Oh, and winning twice helps as well, of course. In the first race of the Assen finale, again Glyn Geddy takes the lead. In the mandatory pit stops, it's time for Father Jim to take over. They've got more result seconds, and it's his first race in a while, so he's got a heck of a job on his hand to stay in contention. Glyn Geddy's face perhaps tells the story. Problems for Dad Jim as he drops down the order, but for Slice and Grals can't make their way into the top 3 as they need to do to prevent the father and son from taking the title. So the 2013 Super GT champions are Jim and Glyn Geddy. With the United Autosports team, they've claimed victory in their first year in the Supercar Challenge powered by Dunlop.
It's an extra special. I think I'd like to thank the team as well. Obviously the team have been brilliant. The car's been absolutely awesome. Been one problem with the car which wasn't the team's fault, and I think a special thanks I'd like to mention Sean as well, who coached me, and good one for Sean. So
An emotional tribute to friend and former British GT rival Shaun Edwards. The talented 26-year-old had lost his life just a few days beforehand. In the GT division, Pierre-Etienne Bourdais is up to second in the championship with his Volvo S60 V8. But in Spa, it all goes wrong at Les Combes. The throttle sticks wide open. The Volvo is smashed into the wall. Pierre-Etienne is fortunately unharmed, but his chances of the championship are zero. So who is left in the hunt? In the GT class, fast Belgians Steve van Bellingen and Vard Slice hold a big championship lead with their JR Motorsport BMW Silhouette. Quite remarkable given their first race win was last time out at Spa, but they've shown consistency and reliability to lead the championship. British duo Craig Wilkins and Aaron Scott have won 3 times this year in their Dodge Viper, but they've suffered bad luck, both technical woes and driver error. Everything will have to go their way in Assen if they're to become GT champions. Just 1 point away from winning the title, all Steve van Bellingen and Vard Slice needed to do was finish the first race, and so they did, to take the GT Championship title. We're winners, we're champions, says Steve van Bellingen. Let's see if we can win the overall title as well. It's been a great year for Belgium, first in football, now this. Let's party. And of course you need to celebrate a newly won championship with a never-ending spray of champagne. Speed and reliability gave JR Motorsport a title again this year. Unfortunately for British drivers Craig Wilkins and Aaron Scott, they had better speed but worse reliability. They have to settle for second ahead of Bourdais. In the GTB class, it's these 2 GT3 Cup Porsches that battle for the championship. The blue and white Porsche, Hoyt's leaders Patrick Lamster and Mark Nyens. They've yet to win a race this season. And this is the other Porsche, René Weinen and Charlie Freins. But during the very final race of the season, it all goes wrong. After a shunt, with the Porsches of Weinen and Marcel van Berlo end up in the barriers, almost certainly putting an end to their championship chances. They were just 1 point ahead of close rivals Lamster and Nyens. Well, René Weinen, trying to continue, decides to go into the pit lane, but from the wrong direction. Despite the best efforts of Lamertink Racing to keep him going, they are disqualified. Problems too, though, for Lamster and Nyens. They managed to bring their car home with a dying engine, and it's just enough to win the GTB Championship. It was a roller coaster ride for the duo, as Patrick Lamster explained. He said, "We had a lot of bad luck. Seemed to be over before it even started this weekend. A lot of stuff happened, but it was the same for our rivals. It's always the same with this final racing weekend. Nothing goes as planned. It's a shame the other guys dropped out at the start. I'd like to have had both cars finish, but maybe if they'd been in the battle, we might not have been champions, so I'm very happy." Mark Nyens enjoying getting the champagne all over teammate Patrick Lamster. And of course, the cameraman always gets his fair share as well. Well, congratulations to all our champions, with Patrick Lamster and Mark Nyens winning the GTB title. In the Supersport Championship, it's experienced Luc de Kock in the 111 Lotus 211 GT4, who shares the lead of the championship. He's claimed 4 wins this season, but the Lotus's lack of reliability has caught him out at least as many times. His comfortable championship lead is all gone. 19-year-old talent Bas Schouten, driving for JR Motorsport and their BMW 1 Series, has a total of 9 podium finishes, with 3 wins, making him one of the title favourites. After 14 races, it couldn't be closer. He shares the points lead with Luc de Kock. This is the Seat Leon Supercopa of brothers Robin and Ferry Monster. For years they've been battling at the top of the Supersport class. They missed out on last year's championship by just a single point. With 3 wins from their 8 podium finishes, things are looking good for them as well. And here in Assen, they're right on it, in 3rd place going into the first corner. Luc de Kock battling for second with Koen Burkhardt and Mark van der Aar in Bas Schouten's car, and that's where it all goes wrong for Schouten. Van der Aar spinning out heavily into the barriers, and Schouten's championship chances are over. He is devastated. So now it comes down to Luc de Kock and the Monster brothers, but with de Kock having just a 2-point advantage, he needs to push hard, and he does. Maybe a little too hard. Into the tight hairpin, it all goes wrong. He prays nobody's going to collect him, but he's out of luck. He struggles on to try and minimise the points gap for race 2. But it's all too much in the end. A disappointed Luc de Kock is forced to retire. There will be no points. Car is completely uncontrollable. It's another unexpected end of a championship challenge. And that leaves nothing in Robin and Ferry Monster's way. They claim the championship in the Super Sport class. Well, the brothers are finally champions after missing out by 1 point in 2012. Super, absolutely fantastic car game. Perfect, says Robin. All credits to the team. We just finished the job. So on the podium, the Monster brothers break loose with the champagne, treating everybody to an early shower. Luc de Kock takes second in the championship. Buskoughton can peel off the gold livery. It's bronze for him, but it is the championship title for Robin and Ferry Monster. And in the sport division, Art Bosman claiming win number 8 of the season despite 55 results seconds. The Van der Kooi Lotus Racing Team gave him a perfect car for the weekend, and Art Bosman celebrates win number 8 and the sports champion title for 2013. Just great, he said. This is how you want to become a champion, with a win. I'm really happy it turned out to be a perfect year. I retired 3 times and yet I'm still champion. Can't argue. Art Bosman, with a massive points haul from 2013, claims the Sport Championship from Rob Neiman, with Dennis de Borst and Martin de Klein in 3rd spot. And that draws a line under 2013. The 2014 calendar's already been published, a great mix of tracks with even more to be included for the Superlights division. Championship organiser Dick Van Elk says, "We're delighted to have created a great calendar for next year. 8 events, including 3 in Belgium and 3 in the Netherlands. Back again to the Nürburgring Grand Prix track, and we're finally going back to Brands Hatch on the full Grand Prix circuit too." So the 14th season of the Supercar Challenge already looks very promising. Join us next year for all the action. This programme is powered by Dunlop Tyres, Spa05.com, Autosportinsurance.com, Syntix and PPG Fitzner.